Well, I have a very sophisticated alarm system, commercial grade, and it usually doesn't get anything. Either it's going to be blank in some spots, or you can see that they just take a frame and then they just duplicate the frame. So but at the time, I mean, it looks normal. What I've done is, I've seen this so many times that I've put an old fashioned analog clock with a second hand, so you can kind of see if somebody's trying to manipulate the feed. But anyhow, these people are very sophisticated, very professional, and usually they don't leave any traces. Because this was going on a long time before I figured out that somebody was drugging me and coming into my house. This goes back to 2011, and when I got divorced from my wife. But my wife had some men that she was associated with, and there was an altercation that I got in with these men, and there was a big fight. And of course, the thing is, I never found out about any of this stuff because they had drugged me and wiped my memory of it. But after the divorce, they were nice enough to give me a couple videos to let me know that, that they had got over on me and had hurt me and hurt my daughter. And from this altercation in 2011, they have sworn to keep hurting me and keep hurting my daughter, keep hurting my family, no matter what. And they keep, obviously, some of the richest people in Houston, Texas. But so what I've done is I'll leave my phone on to record the audio when I go to sleep at night. And so I have an 8-hour audio of the whole event of when they're in my room. You can hear them asking me some questions. You can hear them. They were asking me what my email password was. There's different groups of people. I think the main person involved in all of this is he hires out these people. And then, they want to see what I'm doing because I've got evidence on them from some other things. Well, he seems to be a mystery guy. Some people call him John Corleone. Some people call him John Harrison. I don't think that's his name, but I knew, but I know it's my ex-wife is involved with it. I gave it to the lady at the station, Officer Montgomery. It's 8 hours from the time they got into my room. The thing is, I have a steel. After somebody breaks in your room and drugs you a few times, you try to get your room where you sleep as secure as possible. And, so they were coming through my windows, so I removed the windows in my house. And then they would come through the bathroom. There's a giant window in the bathroom. They'd actually pull the whole window out and come in that way. Replace it, make it look brand new. And then so I put in a steel door. And anyhow, I put some extra screws in it. What they use is some kind of fireman's tool where they can stretch the frame out just big enough so they can then pop the pins out of the door thing. But I'd added another thing in there, and so they had to get a crowbar, but you could see the damage on the door. Normally they fix the stuff up so you can't see. No. Never. And that's been the big mystery. How are they getting me to stay asleep. But I mean, I have a video of me. You can hear me talking. I'm talking to myself and talking to them and just yelling at them. But there's nobody in the room, or there's nobody in the room where the camera is. But you can obviously hear I'm drugged on something. I'm just like, fuck you, motherfuckers, get out of my house. But I'm just. But I know that they use those animal dart guns. I've got a little bit of evidence from that from another encounter where they shot me in the. They actually sent me a picture of me unconscious with the dart sitting in my ear. Yeah, I have it. Yeah, I guess so. But I didn't think y'all took evidence like that. All right, hang on a sec. But what about, what can be actually used in a court of law? I'm sorry, that email address was Major Assaults with an S unit. That is correct. Now, in another incident where the same exact thing happened, they told me that someone would call me and to investigate or whatever. Well, no one ever called me, so I called up the North Division, and I talked to several people there, and ended up calling 9 separate times. I documented every time I called, and no one ever called me back. So then I looked up, I sent off for the copy of the reports to see if maybe somebody closed them out. And they were all closed out, and it basically said that I was crazy, delusional, and yet they never came and investigated, took any pictures of anything, and I've had pictures, and I have some video stuff, and they never looked at anything. They just kind of closed me out. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what would be helpful if somebody would listen to the thing I've left over at the Kingwood. What do you? Yeah, there's a DVD, and it contains this guy leaving me a voice message back in 2015, who's just another. This is. He basically says, you don't know me, but a friend from the church said that you're having a tough time and you need some help. And then I called him back, and he wouldn't. He gave me some phone number and some name. Martin Anderson is what he called himself, but I couldn't find any church that he was related to. He wouldn't give me any information about himself. And then he had the only information that he had was something that was a conversation I had with my ex-wife. That was just me and her. So there's the only person that could have possibly talked to this guy is this Martin Anderson, my ex-wife. And this is when I found. Remember, I told you that I got some video evidence from the guys that I had the altercation with in 2011. Well, it was 2015 is when I found out all of this. So obviously, I'm pretty upset about it. And that's when I called my ex-wife and said, then, she threatens a restraining order because I have a daughter, and they're doing a good job. Well, that's the whole thing. Is their whole goal is to get me to stop talking to my daughter, who's 21 years old. Well, they take away her phone. I think they're drugging her. They're telling her lies. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I know they're threatening her for sure. I'm in Kingwood. Yes. Well, the thing I'm concerned with is when they can't. It's 09431215. 1215. Why wouldn't that be in your system? Well, I just want you to know I'm very leery because I talked to 9 different people, and I finally realized that sometimes they reroute my phone calls. They're using one of those Stingray things because well, I'm not talking to the real people is what I found out. It was like for my work, I will call support and different things, and uh, the call, instead of going to some the normal place, it'll route it to some guy and I can hear him in the background talking and laughing about it. But I'm self-employed. I own a computer consulting business. But back to what happened on the Sunday is they do this thing where they choke me and make me like suffocate, and then they sit there and time it to see how long, whatever they go before I'll start breathing again. I don't know what they're doing exactly to stop me from breathing, but and so of course every time they're like, well, should we? Yeah, while I'm sleeping, and they know they know that the phone's recording because I guess they just don't feel that that's a threat to them because they disable all the cameras and everything, and but so they're telling me should we let him die or should we let him live tonight or whatever. They just it sounds like a lot of people. It just depends on the time, but I mean, it's at least 2 or 3, 4 people because they got to have guys trying to fix because they always have to break the door. They use that thing that busts the frame. Yeah, but of course, the last time they came, they didn't repair it. They just barely threw it back together, and that's why I'm concerned that that they're just done having their fun with me, and they're just gonna make me disappear or whatever. Whatever these people do. And of course, they've threatened my family and threatened all sort of other stuff, and I've got another thing of the actual guy that this John guy where he's at a concert. I've been threatened at a couple of music concerts, and at one concert he videotapes it and is telling people that he gave my whole family cancer and poisoned us, and because somebody was saying something about it, and he says, don't ever give me shit, I've taken care of that. They call me the computer boy. And anyhow, of course, my father died of liver cancer recently, and my mother has colon cancer. And whether all I'm saying is that I've got him verbally saying that to these other people, but I mean, what that counts for, I don't know. But I mean, obviously, I got these other people that are in from the Sunday night saying, we're going to kill you and kill your family. And there's nothing you can do about it. I always say that. Um, and I've got a dog, and they shoot the dog with a dart, I guess. Well, I have, sometimes I have a dog. It depends. It's my niece's lab, but I know that I've caught on audio a couple times that he had bit somebody. So yeah, that is good, but it doesn't keep them from coming back. And they brag that they've broke into the house 75 times, and they've said they raped my daughter several, many times when I'm sleeping. So I mean, these people are. But another thing that I put on this, yeah. Basically, they told her if she ever stays over here, they'll send somebody over here to rape her. Is what they're doing. Of course, I can't prove that, but I have one CD where she's on the phone, and I asked her, "Can I record you while I'm talking to you on the phone?" And she says yes, and I can hear people in the background telling her, "We're going to kill your father if you say one word." So she's basically grown up her whole life being threatened and abused. And in the meantime, my ex-wife is, she's got these people telling me that, they've got pictures of me with my daughter. Well, what they're doing is drugging me, and then they stick, my daughter in bed with me and take pictures or whatever. And I've got one, that's the thing that I left at the Kingwood evidence room. It's from November of last year, but it shows me, I'm asleep in bed. You can always hear me snoring. I'm a big snorer, and you can always hear me comment about how loud and whatever. But somebody has a little doll, and they're talking about bringing in a little boy to get a picture of him with me. So I guess they call it lipsticking. I've never heard of any of this, but evidently they're trying to make sure that if I ever say anything, they can come back after me and say all this other shit and gaslight me and make me look like the bad guy. And of course my ex-wife is very successful banker, and of course the people, like I said, she obviously works with these people that have all this money, and no, I don't know what her relationship is with this group of guys. I mean, it goes back, I don't know, I guess back to 2010, 2011, that she started doing things with these guys after she was, works at a bank, and she was, what do they call a private banker, and somehow she got herself sideways with one of her clients and had got sued about something, and she would never tell me what had happened, but the guy ended up writing a letter saying he'd made a mistake and dropped all the charges. And anyway, so that's kind of, I guess, when I kind of realized she was involved with some of these people, but she would never tell me the truth, and I just, that's when I divorced her, because she just kept lying to me. Yeah, I mean, I've got plenty examples of the video being looped, or the video just being still, or the camera's not working. I mean, uh, if you bring in a radio, whatever, signal expert, I mean, you can, there's more signal coming out of my house than NASA. And they're using the power lines for something. There seems to be broadband going through the power lines. And I know quite a bit about, networking and things. And then they're using this UHF frequency that's open right now. And they also use a sideband for on the FM frequency. All of a sudden, if you turn on your FM radio, you only get a couple stations. Well, for some reason, I got double of 106.9. And if you look at it on a spectrograph or whatever, you can see that there's like a sideband that's encrypted. So, there's all sorts of high-tech stuff going on here. But, the bottom line is they're breaking in my house. They're drugging me. And I can show you too good an example of that online. If you're like just sitting there, right, I've put some stuff on YouTube. Just do a search. Just go to a www.tinyurl.com/Watson Grinding 1, all spelled out. WATSONGRINDING 1. That's on YouTube. And that's going to bring up, it'll just say Torrent Slasher channel. And if you look at all my videos, there's a bunch of them that are black and white. If you look at the descriptions on one of them, will say that it's I think it's only 9. It's at the 9-minute mark. I tell you where it's at, where you can hear that I'm drugged and I'm talking to, out loud, screaming some stuff. Yeah, it's, if you, all right. But that's a whole nother thing, is that Watson grinding explosion. Have you heard of that? The explosion in Houston that was in January? Right. Well, right before that happened, I'm up because, of course, I barely sleep at night because I usually, try to come when I'm asleep. And so I stay up. It's better for me to work at night and then sleep between, there's less. It's harder for them to do something between, 8 and noon. But anyhow, I'm working on my computer, and they hack into my computer and start yelling at me and saying, they're going to do this. They usually just say a bunch of crap, like they're going to rape my daughter. So then I just usually kind of turn it off and don't listen. But on that day, they said they're going to, they're doing something special for me to show me that they cannot be arrested and no one can ever touch them. They're going to blow up this warehouse for me. So my actual video system that I have, my commercial video, it picked up that whole thing of them selling that to me. So that's what's on. I put it on YouTube. So, it wasn't no accident, and you can hear it's my ex-wife and this other guy, John, and a couple other people. But, you can hear their voices, and you can hear them saying, I'm going to blow this thing up, and you'll see that I'm the king of Houston or some shit like that. Or something. The king of Houston or something like that. Well, nobody's ever been to my house. No one's ever taken one picture. And like I said, I think my phone calls just go off in the outer space because, I can't imagine me leaving all those messages and none of those people ever calling me back. So somebody's like, going out of their way to make sure to close these reports and have no one come out. But I mean, that's why I just keep documenting this stuff, and I know that people with a lot of money and pull in Houston can kind of make things happen and make things go away. But this guy is, I call him a monster. Him and my ex-wife. I mean, they've hurt my daughter. They've hurt me. They've hurt my family, and they keep threatening me. I mean, they've got people that'll just follow me around when I'm driving. It's a lot of just. Yeah, I do feel like there's people that are following me. And one of the guys, this same guy, on one of the reports, I heard they get in my attic, and for whatever, I haven't quite figured out the whole attic thing, but I found a little hatch where you can get in on the roof. So one day, about 10 in the morning, I hear this slamming sound. I have nothing on, no AC on, nothing on. And, it's a pretty loud noise. So I thought either a branch fell on the roof or something. Somebody was exiting that hatch or going in that hatch. And I've nailed it down, but they can just easily pull it back up. So by the time I got outside, I found this guy in a car without a shirt on, completely sweat. This is like when it was 100-something degrees. Sitting in a car with this girl, and I'd seen this car several times because I write down all the cars that just park out because there's a street by my house that it's just a dead end, and there's no houses on it. This goes back to where the water, there's a water station thing where they pump the water. So, I went back there and asked, walked up to the car and there was some girl driving. I said, "What are y'all doing?" And they just said nothing. And I said, "Boy, you sure look hot over there, son." He was a young guy. He looked like 17. He was sweating his ass off. And he said, and they both said together, he just got done with basketball practice. I'm thinking, well, why the hell are you at the end of my street? There's no basketball or anything around here. It was like 10 or 11 in the morning. But I did report that, and that was the one guy, what was his name, Officer Cook, that I did show a video to on my phone where it showed somebody in my room holding a puppet, and that was one of the videos where they had of the puppet thing, yeah. That's on the DVD that I left at the station. Yeah. Nah, you can't. Well, you can see the shadows of the people, and you can see the guy's hand holding the puppet, and you can hear him talking about the little boy and that they want to take a picture. So basically, they're trying to, set me up. Let me think. I think it's uploaded. Yeah, I can send you a link to it all. No, not yet. I can't do anything right now. I'm not on my computer. But plus, every time I get on my computer, they've got people that are hacking my computer that try to stop it from working, that turn off my internet, and I've got dual internet connections. Like obviously I'm in the computer business, but every day I've got to deal with people hacking in my computer. So I don't even use Wi-Fi anymore because that just makes it too easy for them. But everything I do on the computer takes me 3 times as long, and they're basically putting me out of business, because between me not sleeping, me being harassed, and, when I watch TV, they have something where it'll come through the television where you can hear somebody's voice. Where I'm on the phone, I can hear somebody's voice. When I'm on the computer, they have sound coming through the speakers. And I've recorded tons of examples of this stuff. But it's hard. The best evidence I have is this 8 hour thing of them telling me they're going to kill me, and uh, the other one was the one. There was another explosion. What day was that? That was in June of this year. To show me that